Hello, my name is Kelly Lane, and I chose the school breakfast program for my facilitated discussion project. You will learn what the school breakfast program is, a brief history of the program, who it serves and how, eligibility requirements, the role of a registered dietitian, requirements of the program, trends of interest, and research. So what is the school breakfast program? This program operates in public and nonprofit private schools and residential child care institutions. They offer free or reduced price breakfasts to all eligible children that attend these schools. This program is administered by the Food and Nutrition Service of the USDA at the federal level. At the state level, the program is administered by the state agencies which operate the school breakfast program through agreements with local school food authorities. The institutions that participate receive cash subsidies from the USDA for each reimbursable meal that is served. The institutions that participate in the program are required to serve breakfast meals that meet the federal nutrition requirements, and I will go over these later on in the presentation. Next, I'm going to touch on the history of the program. The school breakfast program was established in 1966 as a 2-year pilot project that was designed to provide grants to assist schools serving breakfasts to nutritionally needy children. This 2-year pilot project was founded by the Child Nutrition Act. In 1966, there was no clear definition of nutritionally needy. Because of this, the original legislation of the program would be implemented into schools that were located in poor areas or in areas where children had to travel a long distance to school. To encourage these schools in these areas to participate, Congress authorized higher federal payments for schools that were in severe need. During the next few years, the pilot program went through a various amount of modifications in order to expand the program. In 1971, Congress stated that priority consideration for the program would include schools in which were in critical need to improve the nutrition and dietary practices of children of working mothers and children for low-income families. Following this, in 1973, the grant reimbursement structure was replaced by a system of specific per-meal reimbursement. In 1975, legislation gave the school breakfast program permanent authorization. As part of the legislation making the school breakfast program permanent, Congress stated that the program be made available to all schools where it is needed to provide adequate nutrition for children in attendance. Legislation also continued to emphasize that participation by schools that are in severe need will be provided higher reimbursement. The school breakfast program has grown steadily throughout the years. In 1970, 0.5 million children received breakfast through this program. In 1980, 3.6 million children. In 1990, 4 million. In 2000, 7.5 million. In 2010, 11.67 million. And in 2016, 14.57 million children participated. So who does this program serve and how? Today, the program serves children that are in a high school grade or below. Children that attend public or nonprofit private schools, residential child care institutions, and charter schools have access. There are various options of breakfast models that the program can use. The first is the traditional cafeteria-based breakfast model. In addition to this, schools may also consider an alternative breakfast model. Some examples include breakfast in the classroom, which involves serving the children meals during the morning class. This is often used when the teacher is taking attendance or giving classroom announcements. Schools can incorporate this program by using a grab-and-go breakfast, which serves children a breakfast to go, often in paper or plastic bags, before school or during morning break. Lastly, Second Chance Breakfast allows students to eat breakfast during a break time in the morning and are served in the same manner as the grab-and-go breakfast. Who is eligible? Children may be determined as eligible for free meals through participation in certain federal assistance programs such as SNAP, the Head Start program, or any other comparable state-funded pre-kindergarten program. Children may also qualify for free or reduced meals based on their household income and family size. Children from families with incomes at or below the 130% tile of federal poverty level are eligible. Those with incomes between 130 and 185% of the federal poverty level are eligible for reduced price meals. Children also qualify if they are homeless, migrant, runaway, or in foster care. If children qualify for discounted breakfast meals, schools may not charge children more than 30 cents for the reduced price breakfast. Registered dietitians have many roles to play in the school breakfast program. These include consulting with schools on menu planning to promote and market breakfast at schools, community, and policy levels. They can speak to local school administrators about creating a breakfast program. They can also meet with organizations such as a parent-teacher association to explain the program's benefits and cost. Lastly, RDs can help write and locate grants to sponsor breakfast programs. And they can contact legislators to discuss upcoming legislation that might threaten the program funding and standards. Registered dietitians also focus on implementing nutrition education through its team nutrition members. The Food and Nutrition Service provides training and technical assistance to school nutrition professionals to enable them to prepare and serve nutritious meals that meet the program meal pattern requirements, but are also appealing to children. School breakfast must meet the recommendations of the Dietary Guidelines for Americans. The Team Nutrition Resource Library also provides web-based resources available to help children and school nutrition professionals understand the link between health and diet. State and local agencies may request free printed copies of these materials. As mentioned before, the school breakfast program requires that the school breakfast meet the recommendations of the Dietary Guidelines for Americans. The recommendations for breakfast meal options include 1 cup of fruit, 1 ounce of whole grain rich foods, and 1 cup of milk. Optional components include vegetables may be offered as a substitute for fruits. Meat alternatives may be served to meet the weekly grain requirement as long as a 1 ounce minimum of grains is offered daily. A meat alternative may also be offered as an extra food if a reimbursable meal is selected. Breakfast must also be limited to sodium, calories, saturated fats, and trans fats. If they include these requirements, the local school food authorities can choose what specific foods to serve and how they are prepared. Some trends of interest that include the school breakfast program include the growth of the program and COVID-19. The Food Research and Action Center, also known as FRAC, shares the latest trends of the program. They released the latest version of its annual school breakfast scoreboard, which measures the growth of the school breakfast program nationally and in each state. The latest data showed that on average school day in 2017 to 2018 school year, 12.5 million low-income students participated in the program. This represents a 1.2% increase over the prior school year. That is nearly 149,000 students. Even though the program continues to grow, the rate of growth has slowed during the last 2 years compared to the school years of 2012 to 2013 and 2015 to 2016. COVID has also been an overwhelming illness that has affected schools, jobs, and daily lives of the population. Even though this is still occurring, the program still provides food under these circumstances. During the pandemic, if school districts are considered open, but students are learning from home or remotely, they are flexible and allow food to be distributed and eaten at home. There has been numerous research done on the school breakfast program. Studies have found that not just breakfast, but school breakfast specifically, has numerous benefits on health, nutrition, and learning. School breakfasts that are served to low-income students have an overall better diet quality. A study done by Melissa A. Clark and Mary K. Fox in February of 2009 found that children who ate school breakfasts were more likely to meet or exceed the standards of micronutrients such as vitamin C, vitamin A, calcium, and phosphorus. In the same study, researchers found that school breakfast participants may be associated with a lower risk of becoming overweight. Another study done in the USDA evaluation of the school breakfast program pilot project in 2004 found that students who eat school breakfast tend to have better attendance and fewer visits to the nurse's office. They also seem to have a better mental health, fewer behavioral problems, and less anxiety and depression. Lastly, studies done by Howard Taras and J. Michael Murphy shows that consumption of breakfast boosts students' academic performance, grades, and test scores, increases concentration, alertness, comprehension, and memory, improves classroom behavior, reduces absenteeism and tardiness, lowers body mass index, and improves diet quality. Overall, I believe that the school breakfast program has helped children of low-income families and poor living conditions increase their intake of nutritious meals and improve their dietary practices. Here are all my references that I've used within this presentation. Lastly, here are some discussion questions.